Good day, family, and welcome to our follow-up program where we're going to just give you some practical handles on the message that I preached on financial well-being. Did God say? And as promised, we are in the studio and we invited Janu to be here with us today. He is one of our partners here at Doxodeo Roslo campus. Janu, welcome. And the reason why we invited him to be here with us is so that he can just speak out of his own life and give us testimony as to his journey with God in his financial life. So Janu, welcome. And I think the first thing that you need to do is just introduce yourself and tell us more about your studies and where you are in your life right now.
Hello, Fani, and yes, thank you for the opportunity of being here. Like Fani said, my name is Janu. I am busy with my degree in LLB. It's a law degree. And last year I finished my degree in BCom law, where I majored in financial accounting and financial management. So yes, Fani, thank you.
That's brilliant. Now, in the very first principle that I shared in the message, I said that we need to trust God for a financial strategy in our lives. And I've seen that you've read some books, and many of them financial books on business and finances. And just tell us some of these literature that you have and that you have read. And the reason why I asked that is I want to know, and for the sake of our viewers, do you think that reading books on finances and business is part of the strategy to get to the place where God wants us in our financial well-being?
Yes, Fani, absolutely. Even for a person who's not necessarily interested in owning a business or being a financial advisor, reading books, some of the books that I've read is like Rich Dad, Poor Dad, The Richest Man in Babylon, Wealth, Money, Riches, The Complete Financial Guide for Young Couples. All of these books help you to better understand how money works and how you can use it to your advantage. And all of these books shapes your mind, and it helps you to build a better financial strategy for any person who wants to take control over their finances.
I like that. And for those of you watching this program saying, I don't like reading, well, you don't need to like reading, but just start reading something as it's going to help you with a financial strategy. Because let's face it, we're not born with all the knowledge and all the wisdom that we need. A lot of this knowledge and wisdom comes from other people and from other sources. In the message that I preached, there was the scary statistic that about 60% of people don't work with a budget. Tell us about your strategy and what do you use every month to track your finances as a strategy?
Yes, finally, for me, a big principle in any type of financial discussion is being a good steward over what you have. That's why I have an Excel spreadsheet that I designed that just helps me to look back on the month and to see where I spent my money, to make sure that I can keep myself accountable for the way I use my money. And then in terms of planning for a week or a month ahead, I don't try and overcomplicate things. I just work on percentages. So I know 10% first fruits, that goes to God. Then I have a savings percentage, then I have a livings percentage, and even a fund percentage, so that I can help apply my money so that I can enjoy life as well.
This is so brilliant. And the good news for all of you watching this program, that in the description of the video, when you click there are going to be 3 links. 2 documents that you can download, and also an app that you can download on your smartphone that's going to help you with this, what Janu is talking about. So you don't have to go and reinvent the wheel. We've got this for you, and you can really make use of this, and this is really awesome. Let's talk about emotional spending. You know, usually it works this way, that when you don't have money, you want to spend it, you know, and that's how we get ourselves in trouble. We become emotional spenders, and you must have been there yourself. So what I want to know from you is where do you involve God in your financial guidance? Do you literally pray about every financial decision that you have to make and ensure that way that it's not your emotions guiding you, but rather the Spirit of God guiding you?
Yes, no, absolutely. God is a part of my whole financial journey and my progress financially, and the wisdom that I want to apply in my finances. He is the source of that wisdom. So whenever I'm involved in my own finances, or whether there's some serious things that I need to save for, or opportunities that's coming up, these are the things I pray about, and these are the things that I talk to God about, and this is and when I read, this is what I pray when I read, so that the wisdom of the Spirit can just overflow in me.
Well, I think all of us are guilty in some respect of emotional spending. Many of you watching this program might have gotten yourself entangled in some debt when it comes to emotional spending. And again, in that description of the video, you will find a link where there's also a spreadsheet where you can do debt reduction as well as paying up your debt. Again, it's a spreadsheet. You just fill in the numbers. It calculates everything for you. And you never know, in 1 year, 2, 3 years' time, you might be debt-free. So please make use of these resources. The second principle that I talked on was the principle of first fruits, where we give God what is His. The tithing principle, the first fruit principle. And I know that you are very diligent when it comes to this principle. Just tell us, why is this principle so important in your life?
Yes, funny, we talked about a financial journey, and my financial journey started by discovering the value of tithing. And it's all about perspective. So I function from the perspective that I'm a child of God and that I don't need anything other than God's provision over my life. And I have a loving Father that wants to provide for me. Now I don't have to have the stress of being my own provider. Now it makes sense to be accountable and to build up a discipline to honor God with that which He has given me. That's why I've developed my own tithing and my own way of tithing throughout my relationship with God. Now I don't tithe the percentage of the money that I earn immediately, but I tithe on the money that I would like to earn. So normally I tithe more than what's normally required, because I want to develop a discipline and a character and open up a space for God to entrust me with more. So I'm building the character to earn more before asking God for more.
That's really brilliant. And so the people watching this program, all of us sometimes face this temptation, where you want to skip a month, or times are tough, and I'm not gonna sow or tithe this month because it's tough and God will understand. Or you walk into a golf shop and there's a new golf set, or somebody like me who likes cycling. Just the other day I was in a bike shop, and I saw these carbon bikes, and I'm like, and sometimes we want something and we think that we can negotiate with God because He will understand. You must have been in a situation like that. Well, you actually told me a story where you were in a situation where you were tempted to kind of gamble with God's tithe. Just tell us more about that story and how you dealt with it.
Yes, absolutely. Like everyone else, I'm just a human. And a couple of years ago, we wanted to visit my girlfriend's parents in Cape Town. And at that time, we were students. We weren't earning a fixed income. And it was so tempting just to save up every cent that we had, because there was so much unsurety, and there was no promise of anything else coming up soon. But like I said, the perspective became so important. And I knew that the moment that I want to hold back on the tithe, on that first fruits, it means that I want to become my own provider. And I know that I won't ever be able to do that. The riches in heaven are so much more than the riches that you can discover on your own. So I entrust God to provide for me. And what happened? We got jobs, and we had more than enough to go to Cape Town, to pay for our own tickets, to have some spending money, to buy the family gifts for Christmas, just because we were trustworthy with that which God gave us, and He entrusted us with more.
That is a great testimony. And what I like about this is the fact that we are human, we face these temptations. But staying faithful to the principle, I remember somebody once said, the principle works if you work the principle. So in working the principle, you guys were really rewarded. In close to this program, you shared with me a testimony of what's happening at your workspace in this very moment and the favor that God is giving you. Just tell us some of that quickly.
Yes, so as I said earlier, I'm finishing up on my law degree. And just like in any other field of work, there's a lot of uncertainty surrounding, that time where you finish study and you have to enter the workspace. And I know a lot of people in my position tend to be very vulnerable and, make very bad decisions early in their careers, which tie them up. And that's why I started praying for wisdom and for opportunities and for the ability to see these opportunities, to go after them, and for God to really send people over my way. And just as I was starting with this prayer journey for this opportunity that's only coming up next year, as I was busy trusting God with these opportunities, I found myself in a space where I had a coffee with someone that I know. And without knowing, it was a job interview. And at the end of the coffee, I got the job. And with the job, I was, all these promises of having more than enough for my family and be able to provide for my family without working for it, without sweating for it, without stressing about it. God just came and He delivered on the promise He made, that because of your diligence, because of your discipline, because of your character, because you entrusted me with the money that I gave you, I'm going to expand your kingdom.
That is so awesome. And I really trust that all of you watching this program will be so encouraged and motivated today to know that these principles that we preach work in people's lives. It's going to work in your life. And may God really bless you with this. Janu, thank you so much for being here today. Thank you for your time. Thank you for sharing stories out of your life with us. And may God continue to bless you. And I just want to bless you guys. And we're going to close the program with, again, 3 John 1 verse 2. Dear friend, I pray that you may prosper in all aspects and be physically healthy, just as you are spiritually. Thank you so much for watching this program. Please make use of the resource that we have in the description for you, and may God bless you in your financial journey. God bless you.
Thank you, Fani.